Can I tell you something a little uncomfortable? Your brain is actively working against your investment returns right now. Not because you are not smart, not because you do not care, because your brain was wired for a world that no longer exists. And the gap between what your brain is designed to do and what it needs to do to build investment wealth is costing the average investor approximately $386,000 over their lifetime. Let me show you what is actually happening inside your head and how to fix it. Welcome to Freelancer Retirement Lab. I am a self-employed professional with personal finance experience and the parent of a freelance creator. This channel translates financial knowledge into the language of the freelance economy. Subscribe. New videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Picture this. 200,000 years ago, your ancestor is walking across the African savanna. Something rustles in the grass. There are two options. Option 1, it is the wind. Nothing happens. Option 2, it is a predator. Your ancestor gets eaten. In that environment, the only rational response is to react immediately and dramatically. Run, fight, do something. The cost of inaction is death. That survival instinct is still running. In your brain, right now, in 2026. And when your investment account shows a 30% loss, your brain processes that red number the same way it processed the rustling grass. Threat, danger, do something, now. Researchers confirm this. A 50% loss triggers the same biological fear response as a physical attack. Your cortisol spikes. The rational thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, partially shuts down. Your amygdala, the fear center, takes over. In that moment, selling feels like survival. Except, it is not. And the cost of following that feeling is enormous. Here is the financial damage of listening to your savanna brain. In 2008, investors pulled $230 billion from the stock market between September and March. The market hit its absolute bottom in March 2009. And then, it rallied over 400% in the following decade. The people who sold, at the moment their biological fear was loudest, sold at the cheapest prices in a generation. Then watched those same companies multiply in value while they sat in cash waiting for the safe moment to get back in. That safe moment never felt safe enough because fear does not turn off when the market recovers. It just finds new reasons to worry. The research puts a number on the damage. Investors who make emotion-driven decisions underperform passive investors who hold steady by approximately 1.7% per year. On a $500,000 portfolio, that is $8,500 per year. Over 20 years, compounded, approximately $386,000 in forgone wealth. Not from picking bad stocks, from following a feeling. The 3 traps. There are 3 specific psychological traps behind most of this damage. You have almost certainly experienced all 3. Trap 1 is loss aversion. A Nobel Prize winner named Daniel Kahneman discovered this. Losing $1,000 feels approximately twice as painful as gaining $1,000 feels good. The pain and the pleasure are not equal, which means your brain is twice as motivated to avoid a loss as it is to pursue a gain. So, when your account is down, the urge to stop the pain by selling feels overwhelming, even when staying is the objectively better choice. Trap 2 is recency bias. Whatever just happened feels like what will keep happening. The market has been rising for 2 years. It will keep rising. Buy aggressively near the top. The market has been falling for 6 months. It will keep falling. Sell near the bottom. Both feel logical in the moment. Both are wrong. Both are driven by the same cognitive shortcut, assuming the recent past is a reliable guide to the future. Trap 3 is FOMO, fear of missing out. In 2026, nearly 1 in 8 investors report that FOMO actively affects their decisions. Something is rising fast. Everyone on social media is talking about it. The fear of being left behind overrides any rational assessment of risk. The cruel irony of FOMO is that by the time everyone is talking about something, you are almost always buying near the peak. Why freelancers have it harder. Here is something most investment content skips over. These psychological traps hit freelancers harder than salaried employees. Why? Variable income creates a baseline level of financial anxiety that does not exist for someone with a predictable paycheck. Imagine this: a slow month hits, a big client delays payment, your business account is thin, and at the same time, the market is down 20% and your retirement account looks terrible. In that moment, that investment account starts looking like a solution to a cash flow problem. This is the exact moment the trap snaps shut. The person who most needs the money to stay invested feels the most pressure to pull it out. This is why I keep talking about the financial foundation first: the tax reserve, the business reserve, the emergency fund. Not because investing is risky, but because without the foundation, every market dip becomes a potential liquidation event, and that makes the psychological traps impossible to resist. The 4 rules that override your brain. Here is the good news. You do not need to be emotionally stronger than your biology to win at this. You just need to build systems that remove the decision from your hands in the first place. Rule 1. Automate everything. Set your monthly investment contribution to run automatically. You made the decision once, at setup, and you never have to make it again during a market decline. The transfer happens whether you are anxious or not. Rule 2. Stop watching. Checking your balance daily amplifies every normal fluctuation into an emotional event. Once a month maximum. The investor who checks less earns more. Studies back this up. Rule 3. Write it down when you are calm. This one is underrated. Write a 1-page investment policy statement. What you own, how much you contribute, how often you review, what would genuinely justify changing the plan. Then, when the market falls and every signal says act, you read the document instead of reacting. Your calm, rational self overrules your panicked, emotional self. In writing, it works. Rule 4. The 72-hour rule. Any impulse to sell, switch funds, or reduce contributions has to wait 72 hours before you act on it. Almost every emotional investment decision does not survive 72 hours of calm consideration. The Amazon moment. Let me leave you with this. Amazon stock fell 94% between 2000 and 2001, from about $113 a share to $6. Every signal said the same thing. The dot-com era is over. The company is bleeding money. Get out. An investor who held $10,000 in Amazon through that entire 94% fall, who sat with every biological urge to sell and did not act on it. That $10,000 became over $10 million by 2024. Now, this is not a stock-picking tip. We do not invest in individual stocks. The lesson is the psychology. A temporary drawdown only becomes a permanent loss if you sell. The loss was temporary. The gain was permanent. The only variable was whether they held. Here is your action steps. This week, write your investment policy statement. 1 page, 4 questions. What do I own? What are my target percentages? How much do I invest each month, and on what date? How often do I review the portfolio? Once a year. January. What would genuinely justify changing the plan? Be specific. Market is down is not an answer. Print it. Put it where you can find it. The next time the market falls and the brain says act, read it first. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what 200,000 years of evolution built it to do. But the savanna response does not belong in a brokerage account. The investor who builds systems that override their biology does not just protect their returns. They unlock a superpower that most investors never access: the ability to stay invested when everyone else is selling. That is when the real wealth is built. Have you ever sold an investment during a market drop and regretted it? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. If this shifted how you think about your own investing behavior, tap the like. That one tap is worth more than you know. See you on Thursday.